HBO's The Last of Us Season 2 has a major upcoming moment that will recreate the shock of one of Game of Thrones' most famous scenes. After the first season was released in early 2023, a significant wait has been announced for the follow-up. Due to the 2023 strikes, The Last of Us Season 2 won't come out until 2025, which leaves plenty of time for fans of the show to get caught up on the games. Like any adaptation, The Last of Us TV series takes its liberties with the narrative, though certain video game moments seem guaranteed. Based on the game, there are certain aspects of Season 2 that can be assumed. The Last of Us Season 1 timeline spans 1 year, outside of the flashbacks, and Season 2 should pick up after a significant time jump. The second game takes place 5 years after the sequel, though the TV series could squish that gap a bit. Still, Season 1's events will have drastic effects going forward, including one enormous event that should happen early on in the season. The Last of Us doesn't have as vast an ensemble as Game of Thrones, making deaths even more significant. Joel's death will be the Last of Us version of Ned Stark's death. The reaction to Joel's death may be similar to Ned Stark's in Game of Thrones. Many of the Game of Thrones character deaths were memorable, but Ned Stark's death in Season 1 permanently altered the parameters of television. The Last of Us will have its own version of that with Joel's upcoming death in Season 2, which will likely surprise viewers early in the season. In the sense of it being the main character dying sooner than expected to the shock of those unfamiliar with the source material, Joel's death will carry a very similar weight in the new series. Pedro Pascal leads the Last of Us cast, and many TV fans won't see it coming. Of course, while Game of Thrones had a slew of characters to reinforce its cast, The Last of Us has primarily Ellie to carry on the torch. In that sense, Joel's death is potentially a riskier choice, even though protagonist deaths are far more common in contemporary television. HBO and the creatives behind the series have teased that there could be even more seasons, expanding beyond the story of the games. Pedro Pascal is the show's biggest star and a significant draw for many viewers, so it will be fascinating to see if The Last of Us can retain success in his absence. Ned Stark's fate was known before the show started, as was Joel's. Fans of the source material were ahead of the curve in GOT and will be with TLOU. Game of Thrones Ned Stark with his sword. A key similarity between Ned Stark's and Joel's fates is that both of them were known before the shows aired. George R.R. Martin had been releasing A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series Game of Thrones is based on, since 1996, so readers were ahead of the curve on spoilers for the first 5 seasons. Still, many likely expected HBO to back down on killing off Ned, as eliminating a main character so early in the series was unprecedented. HBO always made strides to change TV, but what Game of Thrones did for television shock value can't be understated. In a similar sense, The Last of Us Part 2 was released in 2020, so video game fans have had years to collect their feelings on the death of a beloved character. For gamers, Joel being executed that early in the sequel was incredibly surprising. The Last of Us Part 2 is a bit more divisive than the first game for that reason, among others, which could make or break the TV series. Since Neil Druckmann, who developed the video game, now also co-creates the TV series, seeing the changes the show makes based on the game's reaction will be interesting.